Greetings, all greetings. For the last 4 days, it's been raining here. We have a typhoon that passed Luzon. And today, look at this, hazy. Everything is green. You can't see the mountains because the evaporating water from the ground. First day for the sunshine. Beautiful day anyway. Wow. New Hyundai Electric. Nevertheless, do my walking and relaxing. I said 4 days in the house, and I'm ready to walk. Rice field is flooded. Wow. The weeds are taking over. Anyway, hope you're having a great weekend. Saturday morning here. Something I want to talk to you about. You know, like, this is not fear mongering, okay? Information is information. It's up to you to do what you want with it. However, there's some things that are happening that they have to happen, but the time frame is it's like almost like time is speeding up. It's getting faster. It's like the day is getting shorter and things are happening. Like, you have 24 hours to do something in your day, and now you got 18 hours. And that's because like before, the US had full control of circumstances in your life. Now, or when we began this series talking about Africa, and probably about 3 years ago, getting close to 3 years ago. Well, more than, it's October, yeah, more than 3 years ago. When I began talking about Africa, it was about something non-economic as far as the world is concerned, just about diasporans coming to Africa. All right. Anyway, today we're talking about Africa in a different sense, because, as I was saying, America had control of what the whole world did. But then America screwed up. And as with all what people are calling superpowers today, but it really is no superpower. There is no superpower. It's only in the mind. The superpower is the earth itself, the sun. Those are superpowers. You cannot control anything that the earth does. You cannot control anything that the sun does in our state of technology. Wow. So to call America a superpower or China a superpower or Russia a superpower is really a misnomer. But instead of America having sole control of what happens in the world, now we have China and Russia. They try to play Russia down, but that's neither here nor there. But you also have other nations coming up that are, what China did was talk to these people and say, hey, look, you got more power than you think you have. And if you join us, you're going to have more power still to determine what you do, how your people, how your country functions. We're not going to come in and strangle you because you don't do what we say. We want you to build with us. But that's not the way the European works. The European will, if you don't do what they say, they kill your economy. And if you still don't do what they say, they kill you. And you can see it happen in Panama. You see it happen all over Africa. Lumumba, you know. The French couldn't control, the French and Americans couldn't control, so they got the Belgians taken out. And the way they killed him was just horrifying. That cannot be forgiven. I'm serious. That cannot be forgiven. The Belgian people have to suffer for that. And if you allow it to go unforgiven, then Africa is going to suffer for that. Anyway, well, my direction that I want to go in today is that countries now are having more control over what they do and how they do it. And 3 years ago, that wasn't happening. So it would seem like things are speeding up. It was things are going faster and faster and faster, and people can't keep up what's happening. And it's not going faster, but more things are happening than used to be before. And now you have like 3 points of focus, or where you have one point where everybody's looking at what America did, and the European, actually, not just America, but the Caucasian people, what they did, and then react to it. Now you got China, Russia, even Malaysia, and in the case now, we got Mongolia. But today we see Africa in China. Another summit where African leaders going somewhere else. Instead of talking to themselves in Africa, making up a plan, so when they have to deal with somebody else, that they have a plan. They say, look, here's what Africa is going to do. How are you going to come in here? If you want to deal with us, you got to deal with all 54 of us. You're not going to pick out one of us and deal with, but they all 50 have to go because nobody trusts each other. They all think that if one guy goes, he's going to get $1 million to go in his private bank account, and the rest of them are not going to get any. They can't trust the other leaders to come back and share the wealth. That's how wickedness in Africa works. And people I have talked to all over, from all over Africa, they talk about African culture, how great it is, but they don't talk about this part of African culture. And this thing is not at the top only. You got families that don't work together. You got one person in the family who will go to Europe and everybody in the family will want to eat off him instead of all of them working to contribute something to build a family. And then if that person say, hey, I don't have enough to eat myself, you say, well, too bad. I don't know how many times I've seen all over Africa where somebody went to Europe, send money back home, and the family use it. They all chop. And nobody, he wanted a house built. He didn't mind giving everybody some money, but he wanted a house built. But when he started sending money home, uncle come and demanded, auntie come and demanded, cousin, grandma, everybody gonna demanded money. He is my son. And when he come back home to live, thinking he's gonna go back home and build a business, all his money is gone. And that's the problem that Africa faces. Everybody is preaching this thing about this is the next 100 years, the African century. That is a bunch of crap. Because if you keep doing the same foolishness that you've been doing before, you will not improve. And this thing has been going on since they started Africans selling each other in slavery. And that is a subject that that Africans don't want to talk about. How they sold each other into slavery. The traditional rulers of Africa. Sold other Africans to the Caucasian. Maybe for a rifle or a mirror. The most stupidest things. The same foolishness is going on today. If you don't change it, you're going to suffer the same fate. So you're not guaranteed that Africa century. You are not. If Africa don't get its stuff together, you'll find that some other nation like Indonesia or Malaysia or Bangladesh will surpass Africa again. So, you're gonna go further in this, but I'm just warning people, you can't do the same foolishness. Africa doesn't produce the food that its people need to eat. Why is this foolishness still going on 60 years after independence? "60 years now, not building roads, not building infrastructure, no proper schools, no proper health care. I mean, I've got videos where I show people my garden in Gambia. 3 months I'm waiting for a tractor to come and plow the land. And these are people who have tractors now. And I go to the house and the tractor is sitting in the yard doing nothing. I try to go out and buy a tractor and some guy see me coming. This tractor is 25 years old and he want $500,000 for it. 10,000 US dollars. Same tractor I can buy in the US for $1,000, maybe $500. You can't keep doing this and expect to change and expect better, expect improvement. You go to summit after summit after summit after summit And what do you come away with? Nothing. All you can hear these leaders, they're great. I hear Africans talking about how great speeches they made. And when I listen to the speech, it says, can you help us do this? Can you help us do that? Can you please do this for us? These are leaders who you look at their bank account has got billions of dollars. And they're in China, South Korea, Japan, Italy, France, Germany, begging for money for their people. Ghana, look at Ghana. Can't even meet the payroll. Got to go borrow $3 billion to pay their government employees. And 3 years from now, when the money is due, they got to borrow $6 billion. Ruto in Kenya. I was reading about in American papers about in Semaphore, and I mean Semaphore is the CIA. We're not going to go there today. But in Semaphore, they're preaching about how great Tanzania and Kenya is. And when you dig away the fluff that they're preaching, you see that the country is in deep economic trouble. The buildings look like buildings in Europe and America. But that's all there is. And you got bloggers in Africa talking about how beautiful these buildings look. It looked like you're in America. Yeah, it looked like you're in America. If you build America in Africa, guess what's happening to America now? Unemployment. People can't afford the food, medical care, housing. Can't afford it. You get more poor people day by day. People who used to be so-called middle class, making a few $100,000 a year, now their money can't even buy a house, and they're complaining. A car in the U.S. costs $70,000, $70,000, $70,000 now. A house, cheap house, $400,000. A family who's and the jobs that are being created at McDonald's. You can't buy a house with $400,000 working at McDonald's. So you create America in Africa, guess what you got? For those of you who are from the diaspora, you're going to Africa because you have the financial abilities to do it now. But America and the European mindset is falling apart. The economy is falling apart. If you look at Germany, you see now Germany is a shell of itself. France. You got drugs, I mean, the cartels are operating freely in Holland and Belgium. So the criminal activity that the same European now created in South America and other parts of the world is moving into Europe. So you how the system work. You're going to move to Africa. Make sure your African leader is doing something that's going to improve the country. Wherever you move to, make sure you are prepared for when the financial system sinks, that you can still stay afloat. And it's moving so quickly now that you better pay attention to it. Where you say, well, look at it every paycheck, you got to look at it every day. Watch the news, what's happening, and you see that America, every time China and Russia and Brazil, one of the BRICS countries make a move, America makes a counter move that's trying to harm what they're trying to do. So one day when the system crashes, One day you wake up like a month ago when the stock market fell and all your money is invested in the stock market and the stocks that you own lose 50% of their value. What are you going to do for money? These are things you got to pay attention to. Anyway, getting too long on this video. Hope you're enjoying the day wherever you are. Peace.